Whatever you have here is unholy and must be destroyed.
That the agency has dealt drugs throughout this country for a long time. Director Deutsch, I will refer you to 3 specific agency operations known as Amadeus, Pegasus, and Watchtower. I have Watchtower documents heavily redacted by the agency. I was personally exposed to CIA operations and recruited by CIA personnel who attempted to recruit me in the late 70s to become involved in protecting agency drug operations in this country. I have been trying to get this out for 18 years, and I have the evidence. My question for you is very specific, sir. If in the course of the IG's investigations and Fred Hitz's work, you come across evidence of severely criminal activity,
let him speak
and it's classified, will you use that classification to hide the criminal activity, or will you tell the American people the truth?
All right, you want to hear the response first from Congressman Julian Dixon and then from the director.
If you have information about CIA illegal activity in drugs, you should immediately bring that information to wherever you want, but let me suggest 3 places. The Los Angeles Police Department, your choice, the Los Angeles Police Department, the Inspector General, or office of one of your Congress persons from this.
Wait a minute, sir. All right, Congressman Dixon.
Thank you, sir, for coming.
Thank you very much.
Sir, I want to thank you for coming. You were at the last meeting. The staff probably had the spelling of your name wrong. That would be fine.
Thank you, sir. And for the record, Mike.
Please keep the noise down so that we can hear and we can get answers.
For the record, my name is Mike Ruppert, R-U-P-P-E-R-T. I did bring this information out 18 years ago, and I got shot at and forced out of LAPD because of it. I've been on the record for 18 years nonstop, and I'll be happy to give you, Congressman, anything that I have.
Thank you, Mr. Ruppert.
Conduct a serious and thorough investigation into the allegations of CIA involvement in cocaine trafficking to fund its contra-war activities. Unfortunately, my fear that the CIA would be unable to investigate itself has been confirmed with this report. The Inspector General's report lacks credibility. It is fraught with contradictions and illogical conclusions. In a September 3, 1996 memo, then CIA Director John Deutsch laid out the framework for this investigation. In his instructions to CIA Inspector General Frederick P. Hitz, Director Deutsch stated, "I have no reason to believe that there is any substance to the allegations published in the Mercury News." Despite his premature conclusion, a serious, substantial, and credible investigation and interview process would have proven him wrong. If the CIA director's premature conclusion was meant to direct the final outcome, he has succeeded. This report's sweeping denial of the CIA's knowledge of drug trafficking related to the Contras defies the evidence and the logic that the CIA should have known. I met with Mr. Thomas Borge, a former Sandinista Interior Minister and head of intelligence. Mr. Borge came to meet with me from Nicaragua to South Central Los Angeles and waited for hours until I completed a day-long schedule, and I then spent some 4 hours with him. I have also had numerous telephone conversations with Corel Talavera Baca, the girlfriend of Rafael Cornejo, who was a relative and part of Norman Meneses' drug trafficking organization, as well as a longtime business partner of D'Amelio Blandone, another central figure in the Dark Alliance series. I received information from Ms. Baca and Mr. Cornejo, who were connected to Carlos Ledera, a Colombian drug dealer and co-founder of the Medellin cartel. It was through Ledera's private eye that the Medellin cartel moved massive amounts of cocaine to Miami and the United States. Ms. Baca had visited Carlos Ledera's private island and have information regarding the connection between Mr. Ledera and Norman Meneses. I've had over a half dozen telephone conversations with her, and she has sent me information relative to that operation. I have looked into many of the main allegations raised in Gary Webb's series, and I've thoroughly reviewed the Inspector General's report. In addition, I have read many letters and reviewed volumes of information sent to me and have visited a large number of people who have claimed to have information about the drug dealing in South Central Los Angeles. In my informed opinion, Mr. Chairman, the CIA IG report and the investigation lacks credibility, and its conclusions must be dismissed. Allegations of drug trafficking and connections between the Contras and the CIA were not new. In fact, the report even lists and summarizes some of the other investigations that found Contra involvement in drug trafficking. Senator John Kerry conducted a 2-year investigation into allegations of Contra involvement in drugs and arms trafficking. The CIA Inspector General report summarizes some of the Kerry Commission's 1,166-page report's devastating findings on page 35 through 38. Some of the admissions. Drug traffickers use the Contra war and their ties to the Contra as cover for their criminal enterprises in Honduras and Costa Rica. Assistance from the drug laws was crucial to the Contras. Entrance again to the United States and even issued a visa. How was this allowed, and why was it allowed to continue? The CIA and DEA records are full of knowledge about Meneses' drug dealing operation. This knowledge was substantiated in this report. Even this report, the CIA knew of his drug trafficking by 1984, and the DEA had known of his trafficking activities as early as 1974. Incredibly, the report fails to mention anything about the activities of Adolfo Calero, only mentioning that he was interviewed. He was the key Contra leader and CIA agent on the Southern Front. Calero told the Costa Rican newspaper La Nacion that he met with drug kingpin Norman Meneses at least 6 times, and that he knew Meneses was involved in drug trafficking. Now, in our investigations, we had found out that Meneses had met with Adolfo Calero, and that Meneses and Blandone had been going to these meetings both in San Francisco and in Los Angeles, despite the fact that these conclusions of these drug dealers having no connection to the Contras. Thank goodness your report did identify 6 visits. We only knew about 2.
The world's changed so very much. It ain't what it used to be. There's so much hatred. There's so much hatred.